Hi everybody. In this video I want to explain how you can build an assistant in Copilot. And before I give you an example, let me briefly explain what assistants are. So when we talk about assistants, what we are actually hinting at is that you use generative AI to build something that can assist you with a particular task. Moreover, assistants are typically designed in such a way that you can interact with assistants by means of kind of a chat function. And actually assistants, the people that develop assistants, have a lot of control on how the assistant works because they have provided the initial instructions. Now typically an assistant application consists of a number of building blocks, and so the first one is of course the system instructions. So that you have to see as kind of an extensive prompt where the developer of the assistant describes what the assistant should do. Then, of course, the user will give input to the assistant, which the assistant will use to execute the tasks. And finally, the assistant will give some output. And in your instructions, you can actually define what kind of output it should provide. So these are the essential building blocks of an assistant. So now let's take a look how you can build an assistant in Copilot. So here we see my Copilot environment, and as you can see on the right hand side I have the options to create an agent. And this is a bit confusing because Copilot calls agents what we typically call assistants, whereas most people would refer to agents as more autonomous agents, which is a different topic. So that's a bit confusing. But so when we have here create an agent, it's actually to create an assistant. So we can click on that and then we come into a different type of interface where we can start creating assistants. And let me show you an assistant that I have created called the Digital Disruptor Radar. And so what is this assistant doing? It's an assistant where the user has to give a name of a company, and subsequently this digital disruptor assistant will analyze the business model of the company, try to identify what kind of digital disruptors the company is facing, and it will provide suggestions on how this company could deal with the digital disruption. So let me show you how the assistant is built. So you will need to give it a name, which here we call Digital Disruptor Radar. Then you give us description. So here I'm simply saying helps to identify digital disruptors. And then, and this is the important part, you need to give system instructions. So here I'm saying as a digital disruptor radar, you assist managers in identifying and responding to digital disruption threats. Moreover, I also clearly stipulate some steps that the assistant will have to execute. So step 1 involves providing a description of the business model. Step 2 identifies the most significant digital disruption threats. Step 3 involves searching the internet for specific examples of disruptors. And step 4 is about discussing potential strategic options to deal with the disruption. And here I also give some additional kind of input, what kind of output I want to have. So that's what I give. So it's kind of an extensive prompt on how this assistant should work. You can also kind of upload knowledge. That means you can upload additional PDFs, files that you think can be relevant for the assistant. In this case, we don't really need it. In this case, what is important is that we enable the ability of the assistant to search on the internet, because we want to search it from disruptors, so then it has to be able to search for the internet. So that's how the application is configured. You see there's no coding involved, you just have to give some descriptions. So now let's see how it works. So let me go now to my Digital Disruptor Radar, and now I can simply type in the name of a company, for instance BASF. I can press enter, and now the assistant starts working. So now as a first step it's creating the business model. Yeah, so we can see here that it has created kind of the business model of BASF. Now I can press continue, and then it should go to the disruptor identification, which it's doing now. So now it has identified potential threats for BASF and already also come up with strategic options to address this threat. Yeah? So you see in this way, we now, without having to prompt extensively, we can use this assistant to execute a specific task. So I hope this was a clear illustration of how you can start building assistants in Copilot, and thanks for your attention.